The Story of the Wood Gatherer and the Truth of a King's Son. Once, while residing in Jetavana, the Buddha spoke to the king of Kosala, telling a tale of the past to enlighten the king about the value of birth and truth. The tale began when the king of Kosala discovered that his queen, Vasabhakatiya, was the daughter of a slave girl named Nagamunda. Though Vasabhakatiya had become his consort and bore him a son, Vidudaba, the king, upon learning of her servile origins, degraded her and her son from their royal status. Neither the queen nor her son was allowed to leave the palace, for the king felt their low birth made them unworthy of their titles. Hearing of this situation, the Buddha, at dawn, came to the palace, accompanied by 500 monks. He seated himself before the king and gently asked, "Sire, where is Vasabhakatiya?" The king told the Buddha about her origin and how he had stripped her and their son of their royal status. "Sire, whose daughter is Vasabhakatiya?" the Buddha asked. "She is the daughter of Mahanama," the king replied. "And to whom did she become a wife?" "To me, sir," said the king. The Buddha then spoke with wisdom. "Sire, she is the daughter of a king and is wed to a king. She bore a son who, by his royal blood, should have authority over the realm that rightfully belongs to his father. In the past, a great monarch once had a son by a simple wood-gatherer, yet he gave that son his due place as a king." Intrigued, the king asked the Buddha to explain further. The Buddha began to tell a story from a past life, revealing what had been hidden by the veil of rebirth. The Tale of the Wood. Gatherer's Son. In the ancient kingdom of Benares, King Brahmadatta ruled with great splendor. One day, while wandering through his pleasure gardens, the king chanced upon a woman joyfully gathering wood in the forest. Her song filled the air, and the king, captivated by her beauty and grace, fell in love with her on sight. The king approached her, and from their union, the Bodhisattva, the future Buddha, was conceived. As the days passed, the woman noticed a heaviness within her, and soon she realized she was carrying the king's child. She went to the king and told him the news. The king, giving her his signet ring, said, "If the child is a girl, use this ring for her nurture. But if it is a boy, bring both the child and this ring to me." Time passed, and the woman gave birth to a son. As the child grew older, he played with the other children in the village. However, he was often taunted with cries of, "No father has hit me!" Confused and hurt, the Bodhisattva ran to his mother and asked, "Mother, who is my father?" "You are the son of the king of Benares," she told him. "What proof do we have of this?" the boy asked. The mother showed him the king's signet ring and told him of the king's words. The boy, determined to claim his rightful place, said, "Then why don't you take me to my father, mother?" Seeing her son's resolve, the woman took him to the palace gates and asked that their arrival be announced to the king. They were summoned before the king, and bowing low, the woman said, "Sire, this is your son." The king recognized the truth in her words, but was embarrassed before his court and denied her claim. "He is no son of mine," the king said coldly. "But here is your signet ring, sire," the woman replied, showing the token the king had given her. "That is not my ring," the king declared, hoping to silence the matter. With no witness left, the woman resorted to an appeal to the truth itself. "If you are truly the father of my child, then may he stay safely in midair. But if not, let him fall to the ground and be killed." With these words, she lifted her son by the foot and tossed him into the air. In that moment, the Bodhisattva sat cross-legged in midair, suspended above the earth. In a clear and sweet voice, he called out to the king, declaring the truth in verse. "I am your son, great king. You must support me, leader of men. The king supports others, so why not his own son?" Upon hearing the Bodhisattva's words, spoken from mid-air, the king was filled with remorse and love. He reached out his arms, crying, "Come to me, my boy. None but I shall rear and nurture you." 1,000 hands were raised, ready to catch the boy as he descended, but it was into the arms of his father, the king, that the Bodhisattva landed. The king embraced his son and seated him in his lap. From that day onward, the boy was named Kathavahana, the son of the wood-gatherer. The king made him his viceroy, and his mother, the wood-gatherer, was elevated to the rank of queen consort. When the king eventually passed away, the Bodhisattva ascended the throne, ruling the kingdom justly and wisely. After telling this story, the Buddha looked at the king of Kosala and said, "In the past, a son born to a wood-gatherer became a king. How, then, can you deny your own son, born of royal blood?" The king, moved by the Buddha's words, restored both Vasabhakatiya and Viduddhaba to their rightful places in the court. The Buddha concluded the lesson, revealing the identities of those in the past. In that life, the mother was Mahamaya, the father was King Suddhodana, and I myself was the wise king Katavahana. And so, the Buddha's story brought peace to the royal family, and the wisdom of the past illuminated the present.